What's up, everyone? Dumbphone Digital. And look, man, I know that this title of this video is a little bit like, what is this dude talking about? So before we get started with this video, I just want to say this. I'm not the type of person that make clickbait titles and not explain exactly what I'm talking about. And one thing I want to say is that I've been an iPhone user for since forever, since the first iPhone. I think the only one that I actually skipped was the 5C and the 16 Pro series. That's it. Owned every iPhone before that. So technically I'm an iPhone user, but also an Android user. So when I talk about why I think the iPhone is a dumb phone, so this video is about features that the iPhone and the Pixel phone actually shares, but it's just about who does it better, or just really in a sense about the preferred method I like or their approach, because everyone's different, right? So whatever features that I do talk about is going to be a feature that my current Pixel and my iPhone actually has, and why I feel like the Pixel is a little bit smarter in that sense. Now, I know there's a lot of other Android phones out there on the market, and they probably have way better features than the Pixel, but I'm a simple guy. iPhone and Pixel, simple. That's me. The first thing I want to say is navigation. On my Pixel, I can just swipe at any edge to go back in any app, anywhere, anytime. Well, the iPhone, not so. Some apps will allow you to swipe from the middle to go back, and some you actually have to reach all the way at the top and hit a back button. It's just a little bit confusing sometimes when I'm navigating it, just, me coming from an Android phone, but they both have back gestures nonetheless. But I just think that Pixel's approach is a lot better, which means to me it's a little bit smarter. Let's talk about the clipboard. Well, both phones have copy and paste, but with iOS you can copy one thing at a time and paste it. Well, on the Pixel I can copy multiple things at one time and go to the keyboard clipboard and just kind of choose what I want to paste at that given time. And on top of that, I can pin stuff that I like to post all the time, like my channel link, when you share it. And again, both phones have copy and paste, but I just think that the Pixel does it a lot smarter. One of the things that's most important with a smartphone is the typing experience. And I feel like when I'm typing on my Pixel, as dumb as I am, because look, I'm dumb, right? So the Pixel corrects my spelling, it corrects my grammar, it corrects everything for me while I'm typing. It even can predict the word that I'm trying to say and place it in there as I'm typing. Well, my iPhone kind of doesn't do that. I have to go back, proofread myself and check some things. It does give me suggestions of words just like any other keyboard out there, but it just doesn't seem that smart. And because I think that the iPhone is kind of a dumb phone and I'm kind of a dumb person, dumb and dumb makes dumb and dumber. And that's me and my iPhone experience when typing. The typing experience is just still horrible on the iPhone. Some of you may get that. Some of you be like, not my experience. And keep in mind, both phones have a keyboard. One is just smarter. 90% of the time when I use my Pixel, I am not typing. I like it. I do it when I want to be more private, but whenever I get the opportunity, I'm using my voice. And listen, y'all already know both have voice dictation. Who does it better? Yeah, in my opinion, that's the Pixel. Once again, I can talk normal. I still find myself talking slow, like I'm talking to a baby when using my iPhone, and then I got to go back and proofread it and make sure it's straight. But look, I don't want to keep on saying I got to keep checking behind the iPhone. I do check behind the Pixel sometimes. Sometimes it can mess up. It's not 100% accurate, but it's accurate enough where I'm comfortable with saying something and hitting that send button for even looking sometimes, but just quite not the same for my iPhone experience when voice texting. Again, both phones have this feature. I just find it smarter on the Pixel. Now look, we all like to buy these big giant phones. I love these phones. They're awesome. Everyone wants the bigger battery. Most phones, the bigger phones have, more features and stuff like that, but that's not really the case for these phones this year. But I do want to bring up the notification shade, because when swiping down on the Pixel, I can swipe down anywhere on the home screen to swipe down to bring my notification tray down. While my iPhone Pro Max is huge and I have to do these gymnastics with my one hand, because I have big, small hands, if that makes any sense. They're like stubby, but they're not long. So I can't reach all the way at the top to bring my notification shade down. I have to use my iPhone Pro Max with two hands to have, it's just a two-hand phone, period, for me. For some people, it may not be, but for me, it is. I just fat, stubby hands, that's it. I think that it's smarter to have a gesture where you can swipe down from anywhere from the screen and bring it down. Now, listen, if you can do that please let me know on an iPhone, because I know when I swipe down, it brings up the search. But anyways, I think that when it comes to notifications, the Pixel is a little bit smarter with knowing, because it's a big phone. It's like, hey man, swipe right here and you can still get your notifications without having to stretch your thumb all the way up there doing these gymnastics. So that is another thing. And using an Android phone for so long, you learn to appreciate just the simple things. Now, both phones have background processing. I know Apple's is a little different because it's more native to their apps kind of per se, like the browser, from what I heard in my experience. But I do love the fact that I can take photos on my Pixel, and it's just, I don't have to open the app for the upload to like Google Photos and back up to certain things. And it may be the same situation. And this part right here may be like, well, if you use Apple's, iCloud to back it up, then it would be the same process. And I can't argue that because you're probably right? But because I do back up all of my photos using Google Photos on the cloud, when I'm using the iPhone and I want it to be backed up, I have to open the app, leave it open to make sure that everything backs up there, and kind of like stir the app like the whole entire time like this. Now look, both of these phones have a camera. I just want to bring this up. This is like just a frustration that I have as being a photographer. Now, I love the Pixel camera. I love the iPhone camera. Like, I shoot RAW on both of these devices. I don't shoot JPEG. I shoot RAW, and I process and edit my own images. That's just me. I'm always going to do it. Don't care. As far as Apple's processing with JPEG and Google's processing with JPEG, both are fine for the average person. I'm not satisfied with it 100%, so I shoot RAW. With that being said, the iPhone focusing distance is really trash. I like to do a lot of product shots, and I like to get real close, and certain things I take pictures of, I like to get very, very, very close. Well, the Pixel allows me to get extremely close and it focuses, but the iPhone, it just can't. It just sits there out of focus the whole entire. Now, this is the native app. And again, you can be like, hey man, you can download a third-party app and boom, fix the problem. I'm a person who likes to use a lot of the native apps and not download third parties and stuff like that. But yes, both phones can do it, but out of the box, the Pixel is smarter when it comes to that. Again, right? Because that's what this video is about being smart and dumb. And out of the box, yes. But then there's ways you can do a lot of this stuff that I talked about in this video on the iPhone if you were to download a third-party app. I'm pretty sure of it, but we're talking about just, native apps out the box type situation. And that's kind of how I use my phones. Now listen, this may be a bug, maybe a problem, don't know. But auto brightness, I remember a time where auto brightness sucked on Android, at least on every Android that I use, which is a lot. And the iPhone just had it right. They just had it right. It seems like it flipped. It seems like my auto brightness just don't work. I'm in the bed, at night chilling, and I pick up my phone off my MagSafe charger, and it's still freaking bright, like really bright for whatever reason I don't even know. And then I gotta go manually and lower it, and I'm sitting here like, what's going on in my Pixel, right? Pixel gets to the point where it gets so dim that sometimes I gotta raise it a little bit, but I'd rather it be low because I'm in an environment where it's really dark. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Like, the iPhone is not smart at raising the auto brightness. Now, if I go outside, it works perfectly fine, but it's just like when I'm inside, it has this default, brightness that it want to just linger at, and I have to go in there and manually bring it down every single night, like every day. But I just find that when it comes to auto brightness, which they both have, remember, I'm talking about features that both of these phones have. I'm not talking about what Android can do that an iPhone can't do, or what an iPhone can do and an Android can't do. I don't make videos like that. We're talking about the same type of features. So with that being said, this is why I consider the iPhone kind of a dumb phone. But I'm not gonna close out this video like this at all, because I am having like this phone. This is the best iPhone I have ever used out of all the iPhones I have ever bought. Despite those little annoyances that I have, I enjoy this phone up and down. I even put my main SIM card in here. My main SIM card, well, eSIM. The Pixel holds my second phone line, my business line. That is my line where I use to test all the other phones and stuff like that and carry, because that's normally where my iPhone lives. But I swapped it around because I wanted to be 100. I wanted to be honest with you guys when using this phone, because if I'm honest, when my Pixel is my main phone and I have my iPhone as my second phone, I kind of throw my iPhone in my tech bag most of the day and go get it when I need it for something or whatever case may be, which is almost for nothing because it does the same thing the Pixel does. Literally right now, this would be my main phone for the whole entire year. I'm not gonna swap the eSIMs around. I'm just gonna use the iPhone and become a dedicated iPhone user first over becoming a Android user that I always been. as well as an iPhone user too, but I'm just swapping the eSIMs and I'm going straight up Apple. So as of right now, I will be covering both of these devices, and I'm going to tell you in my first 24 hours video when I drop it of how much I actually love this phone and how awesome it is. And I want to say this is due to iOS 26 and all of like the Android-like features that it got. It made it a better phone for me to actually be okay to daily as my main phone and SIM card. That's crazy. Anyways, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.